All right, today, everybody, we are going to be talking about using unit rates. Now, a unit rate, as you see here on the screen, is going to be something that you can use to simplify rates that appear complicated, okay? A rate would be something as simple as a rate of speed, so like 60 miles per hour. What that is really saying is that we are able to travel a distance of 60 miles per 1 hour. So that would be a unit rate. Basically, when you can put 1 unit of value in the denominator, and that would be an example of a unit rate. So as we see here, there is an example of a problem here earlier. This is not the one that we're going to be working on because we worked on this one in class. 2 pools are leaking after 15 minutes. Pool A has leaked 2/3 of a gallon. After 20 minutes, pool B has leaked 3/4 of a gallon. Which pool is actually leaking faster? We attempted to verify, and it appeared to be that pool A was actually leaking faster. But how did I get to that answer? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and switch over to a couple more problems. And again, through the magic of YouTube, we now have 2 problems up. Now we're going to be focusing on questions number 6 and number 7. Okay, we're going to determine which rate is going to be lower. So these have real-world applications. So if you notice there, brand A is a brand of pickles, it looks to be. Brand B is also a brand of pickles. I'm trying to determine which one has a lower sodium content. If I know that brand A has 240 milligrams of sodium for 1/3 of a pickle, and then brand B, it looks to be, has 325 milligrams of sodium for 1/2 of a pickle. Which one is going to have a lower sodium content? Okay, and then we look at the one on the right. It says that ingredient C is going to be 1/4 of a cup for 2/3 of a serving. And then we have ingredient D, and I'm writing as I'm speaking. We have 1/3 of a cup for 3/4 of 1 serving. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to actually look at solving, and I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to the visualizer. Now, when using unit rates, and this is 7.4D, by the way, that TEKS, step 1 says that we're going to determine our units of rate, meaning that there should be two different units, okay? And what units are actually in the problem? And when I say units, I mean, as we just saw, milligrams. A pickle would be a unit. 1 pickle would be a unit. 1 serving would be a unit. Measurements of time could be units. All sorts of things could be units. But what units are in the problem? And I'll talk about that more in just a second. We're also then going to set up your complex fraction for both values if you're trying to compare 2 different values. And then solve and assess based upon what the directions are actually asking for you to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus in on brand A and brand B for the 2 brands of pickles. So that we don't get distracted, sorry. I'm going to go ahead and just cover this part up. Okay. So I want to focus on brand A and brand B. So the second step said for me to go ahead and set up a complex fraction. A complex fraction basically is where you have 1 fraction in the numerator and 1 fraction in the denominator. And I'm going to do that for both. Okay, so I have A here, and I have B. So 240 milligrams over 1/3 of a pickle. Now, our units of rate were, would I say milligrams per pickle if I'm trying to find the lowest sodium content? Or would I say pickles per milligram? I'm going to say milligrams per pickle. So my units of rate, which I'm going to say UOR, would be milligrams of Na, that's sodium, per 1 pickle. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to assess. Brand B, 325 milligrams of Na, that's sodium. I used to be a science teacher, that's how I know. Okay, 1/2 of a pickle. So I'm now going to set this up as 240 over 1. Why did I do that? Because any number over 1 is going to be a fractional part. Okay, divided by 1/3. I'm leaving the units behind for now because I've already identified my units of rate. I'm going to do the exact same thing over here. Draw myself a line. 325 over 1 divided by 1/2. Now, Mr. Moore, why do you keep writing these things over and over again? The reason I keep writing them over and over again is because I don't want to get lost. Okay, I really don't want to get lost. So that's why I continue to do it. So 240 over 1 using the principles of keep change reciprocal, or take the reciprocal, or reciprocate. I'm going to keep this first fraction, change my operator, that's multiplication, take a reciprocal of the next fraction. So that's why I am multiplying that. This now becomes 720. Okay? Now, because it is 720, I'm going to go back to my units of rate. My units of rate says milligrams of sodium per pickle. So this turns into 720 milligrams of sodium per 1 pickle, or per pickle. Doing the same thing for this one. 325 over 1 multiplied by 2 over 1, my reciprocal. I now have 650 milligrams of sodium per 1 pickle. So which one, if I was trying to watch my salt intake, am I going to choose? The one that I'm going to choose is going to be brand B. Okay, brand B has lower salt content. So this would be my winner. Okay, brand B has a lower salt content. And I'm simply comparing the two. Okay, now I'm going to move back up to my next problem. Remember, we were dealing with some ingredients, ingredient C and ingredient D. Maybe a real world application could be, maybe I'm trying to avoid maybe ingredient C or ingredient D. If I have a certain amount, maybe it's not quite so bad for me. I need to figure out which one is going to be the best for me. I know that these are all health related today for some reason, but I wanted to try to figure out maybe which one is going to be a lower amount. Okay, maybe again something I'm trying to avoid. All right, so I'm going to set these up again. C and D. I'm going to draw myself a little squiggly line between these. I want to know 1/4 of a cup over 2/3 of a serving. So for every 2/3 of a serving, there's going to be 1/4 of a cup of ingredient C. What are my units of rate? Again, UOR. The units that I have in this particular problem are cups and servings. Is it cups per serving or servings per cup? Okay. If I'm trying to find the number of servings, okay, 1 serving, I'm trying to compare it against 1 serving. So in that case, it's going to be cups per serving. Okay, cups per serving. All right. With that said, now 1/4 divided by 2/3. I'll come back to you. I'm going to do the exact same thing for this last one, or the next one. 1/3 divided by 3/4. It now becomes 1/3 divided by 3/4. When I say it becomes, all that I'm doing is I'm simply restating this. This large bar is the same thing as a small bar in a regular fraction, like 2/3, except I have a fraction and a fraction, so that's why they make it a little bit larger. Again, keep change, take the reciprocal, that's 1/4, times 3/2. This becomes 1/3 times 4/3. Okay, so I'm going to multiply across. This becomes 3 over 8. Multiplying across, this becomes 4 over 9. Okay? Now, what I need to do at this point is I need to change this to like fractions. Now, I could easily divide and get a decimal. I don't want to do that because what if it's almost the same? So I want to compare apples to apples. So what is a number that I could use? Okay? Where, and this is a multiple of both 8 and 9. This is a practical use for least common multiple. If I wanted to do that, let's do least common multiple, and I'm just going to do it on a little sheet of scratch paper. I'll post it. Okay, least common multiple of 8 and 9. 8 times 1, 8, 8 times 2, 8 times 3, 8 times 4, 8 times 5, 8 times 6, 8 times 7, 8 times 8 is 64, 8 times 9, 72, okay, 9 times 1, 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, what is that, 9 times 5, 9 times 6, 54, 9 times 7, 63, 9 times 8, 72. So the least common multiple is 72. Okay? So what do I need to do to each one of these to put 72 in the denominator? I multiplied this by 9, so this becomes 27. This by 8, this becomes 32. Sorry, I'm drawing on the edge there. Or writing on the edge. 32. So 32 over 72 and 27 over 72. So which ingredient would be the least? Would be the least amount. Okay, so clearly, ingredient C would be least per serving. So again, this becomes 3/8 of a cup per serving. Per one serving. And the only reason that I didn't write it as in terms of 70 seconds in the denominator is because of the fact that I was only using that to confirm which one was smaller. But I'm going to go back to the original, more user-friendly number. So 3/8 of a cup of ingredient C per serving. If you have a question, please make sure that you attempt to ask me in class. Please stop by my tutorials. You may also leave a comment or write the video or watch this video one more time. And as always, I will see you tomorrow.